My name is Craig. This is my wife, Victoria. We're joining the VyStar Savings Challenge because I'm getting ready to retire from the military, and we are trying to figure out if we have everything we need in savings.
I'm hoping to get more clarity on our bills and more clarity on our savings, where we can do better at.
And hopefully they can set us up with letting us know that we can do this, we can retire because we have the money to do it right now, or we got to sign on for another 3 years and keep going.
All right, Sean, I am so excited to meet our next VyStar Savings Challenge members. I say members because it's a couple. It's Craig and Victoria Voslin, and he is in the Navy still, but he could retire. As a VyStar military liaison, we're gonna help work them through this. What kind of goes into planning ahead for a military family?
Well, there's a lot of people in that same situation, to be honest with you. And the question is, do you take the promotion, take the next job? There's some money involved with that, and there's also new locations involved with that. Right. So now we got to think about the family, what do we want to do? So then we got to look at our finances. Are we ready to retire yet? And that's a big question to ask, and that's something we got to ask them to see what they want to do.
Okay, well, I think they are ready. They are here right now on the USS Orlick. Isn't this so cool, by the way?
I love it.
How long did you serve, really quickly?
I served 27 years.
Thank you so much for your service. I think it's time to go meet them. What do you think?
I'm ready.
All right, let's do it. Hey guys! Thanks for joining us here today, or letting us join you. This place is cool, isn't it?
It is awesome.
Pretty awesome.
It is awesome.
And VyStar, a big supporter of the USS Orlick?
We have a long history supporting our military here. We were actually founded in A.S. Jacksonville in 1952.
That is so amazing. All right, well, I'm excited that you guys are joining the VyStar Savings Challenge. First of all, what made you want to join the challenge?
So we're getting ready to retire from the military, and with that comes financial responsibilities, right? And it seems like no matter how much you try to put aside, it always seems to go. So we're teaming up with VyStar and the Savings Challenge to see if we can pad those finances a little bit more before we end my Navy career.
Right, do you have children?
We do, we have three.
Three.
Okay, so that's a big part, something they need to think about as well.
We've been doing this for 24 years, got 3 kids, 2 of them have suffered through 6 movements, change of stations, and so now we're just trying to let our youngest one grow up in a normal, American family where we don't move all the time.
Makes sense.
And we can just set roots.
So ideally, he wants to retire, but it sounds like he might have to stay if the finances aren't where they need to be.
Sure. And there's a lot of things to consider on that. One of the things to consider right off the get-go is that you're going to lose all your incentive pays, your allowance for housing, your allowance for subsistence, and your base pay. With 24 years, you get 60% of that base pay, but it's just the base pay. So that's a big change, because I don't know if you're like me, my pay was my pay, and I didn't really consider all the extras that were in that pay, just that was the pay. So you got to take that into calculation as a whole. The other things you got to consider is we got to think about, your insurance. So whether you want to do the survivor benefit plan, if you want to do a VA life, or if you wanted to do some sort of civilian life insurance policy. These all have costs, because you still got to protect the family as a whole. God forbid something happens to you. Your health insurance, so now your deductible, your copay is going to change once you get into the TRICARE side of the house. So see, these are all things we have to consider because they are big financial changes.
Yeah. And that's all great information, right? Because we go through a transition assistance program going out, but they give you the highlights of what to expect and stuff like that, but they don't go into the nitty gritty, right? So be able to talk with somebody like you who has done it, who's gone through it, and knows the intricacies of what we're getting into.
I agree. There was a lot of lessons I learned, and I'm happy to share them.
Yes, sir.
Yeah. So the ultimate goal to retire, right?
Yes.
Stay in Jacksonville?
Yes.
Yes.
Okay, are you guys ready? Are you excited?
Yeah,
Okay,
super
yeah,
excited.
so excited for you guys.
Yeah.
Okay, I think it's time to head to the branch then.
All right,
let's go.
Let's go.
Craig, Victoria, welcome to A.S. Jacksonville. This is where it started for VyStar, right here on base. We have a Veteran Affairs office here to help you with the transition if you wish to retire out.
Okay.
Let me introduce you to Blake Massey. Blake Massey is our financial advisor here for VyStar. So all these things we had talked about, he's going to talk about those numbers and the impact of those numbers.
Let's go chat about the numbers.
Let's do it.
All right, perfect. Come on, this way. Today we're going to just kind of take a deeper dive into the numbers, make sure that all the numbers are making sense for us, right?
It's the delta between the last paycheck in the Navy and rehiring out in the civilian world and being able to afford the lifestyle we currently live and comfortably make that transition. We're used to bringing in close to $130,000 a year, and we don't have a lot of expenses, right? We don't have a lot of bills that we owe. It's more of like figuring out, how do we plan for the unforeseeable future, right?
If I'm able to have enough time to get any schooling or anything along those lines to kind of start You know, I mean, that's the unknown, the scary part of the whole thing.
I sit down with a lot of people that are in that same boat, right? You know, we make this much, but where does it go every month? So, so the good thing about that is VyStar's got some great tools that we can take a look at that can kind of help us pinpoint and drill down, and then we can make just some decisions on are there things that we can cut, or are there things that we can maybe trim back on to help us save. If you were going to be retiring in 9 months and you can save, let's say, an extra $2,000, $3,000 a month, right? That's an extra $25, $30, maybe even $40,000 that now we've got that set aside, and that can be our transition money to where when we're out and we're looking for something, we don't have to just go and jump on the first thing that we find. And then for you as well, right? If you're going to go look at, you know, maybe having to study and get some licensing or things like that to do what you want to do, we'd have some money set aside for that as well. On our VyStar website, we have a dedicated page for our military members to have easy access to things like VA loans. They can get paid up to 4 days early if they have their check direct deposited. We also have access to military discounts, as well as our financial fitness resources page. And that's where we're going to focus our attention today.
Okay.
Awesome.
This is our expense worksheet. Right? It takes everything and breaks it down. It brings new meaning to that. I'm spending $11,000 a month, but where exactly am I spending it, right? But there are some categories in here that we can look at and we can figure out where we can either cut back or we can cut out completely. And then we also have a really neat little thing down here where it breaks it down from a daily basis so that you can see what you're spending each day of the week and total it up, right? That way, it just gives you a different way to look at, here's what I'm spending. Looking at it on a daily basis. Maybe today you've bought a couple of things off of Amazon, or you've gone to the mall and you've bought a couple of extra things. So you can kind of see, you know, okay, here's exactly where my money's going. I'll have you guys do this.
Yeah, I love
this
how detailed that
exercise,
is.
Yeah, as well. We'll come back in, let's say 4 to 6 weeks.
Okay.
Sit down, review that, see if it makes sense to cut in some places or cut out some things, and hopefully get you guys on the road to retirement here real soon.
That'd be great.
That's
All
awesome.
right.
Yes, sir.
Perfect.
Thank you so much.
Excellent. What we talked about today was trying to come up with a budget, trying to come up with a plan for them to save some money so they can live that dream of retirement and moving on to the next stage of life. Transitioning really is a tough time for military families, and here at VyStar we want to be a resource, and we have all the resources that military families need to come in and sit down with us and have a conversation about what that looks like and see if it's something that they can do as well for their family.
We'll check back in a few weeks to see what the Voslins decided. I can't wait to find out. If you would like to join the VyStar Savings Challenge, though, where we challenge you to save $1,000, you'll automatically get enrolled to potentially win $1,000. Just head to vystarcu.org/savingschallenge.